trust someone, we need a couple of things to understand. We need to understand that we have faith and fear operating at the same time. And that is why it's so difficult to trust someone and to even sometimes trust ourselves. Let me explain. So when I meet you and I decide that I want to have a relationship with you and you decide that you want to have a relationship with me, we are assuming that the relationship is going to be one that is reciprocal. And so we have faith and we have hope. We have this assumption that the relationship that we're going to have is going to be beneficial to both of us, right? It could be a business agreement, it could be a partnership, spousal relationship, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, friendship, whatever. We just understand and we have hope and we have faith and we have this assumption that everything's going to work out fine. Mixed with this faith and hope and these assumptions for everything wonderful are also my fears and also your fears. We've all been wounded. We all have suffered to one point or another. And so developing faith and developing trust in a relationship also has to deal with my vulnerabilities and my fears. And that's why developing trust in a relationship is so complex. In addition to trust being such a major thing, our ability to do so is highly unconscious. Our ability to trust one another goes back to how well we were able to secure attachments with our caretakers. If I have a secure attachment to my mother, then I'm able to trust that I am enough. My mother has done a well enough job to make me feel like my needs were important. And now I can feel this trust that I am a viable, valid human being. And whatever it is that I am is worthy enough for this other mother, usually outside of me, to nurture me and to meet my needs. When we are born to people who have their own anxious stuff going on, they have their own attachment stuff going on, they might be alcoholics, they might be suffering some mental health issue, maybe they're severely codependent and they don't realize it. When we are born to people who are dysfunctional, who are living below the veil of consciousness, doesn't mean that they are intentionally harming us, right? I think that many parents harm their children unintentionally, myself included. I'm raising my hand. Can I get an amen? Was me. I didn't intentionally set out to hurt my children, but I hurt my children. I was below the veil of consciousness. I wasn't as present as I could have or should have been. I did not meet the demands of my children as often and as consistently as I should have because I was absorbed in my own head. Okay, I didn't do it intentionally. However, I acknowledge and I will forever try to undo what has been done as it relates to my children because I know that my unconsciousness hurt them. So do my children and have my children have they struggled with trusting people? Of course they have. Why? How could it be any other way? And so it was for me. It was difficult to trust people because I learned very early on to not trust people, to trust that I was not worthy of being validated, to trust that it was not safe to be me, to trust that it was not safe to express my emotions. And so I did not develop the faith and the hope. I did not assume relationships were going to be beautiful and reciprocal. In fact, I remember entering into high school thinking, I'm just going to get through these 4 years. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to move to Manhattan. I'm going to get some clerical job. I'm going to have cats and that's going to be my life. Like seriously, if that's your life, there's nothing wrong with that. But my thought process at the time was all rooted in my lack of trust and my inability to trust not only other people, but in the reality that I was worthy of joy, of love, of peace, of enoughness, and of abundance. Trust, in my humble opinion, is sacred. When you trust someone, you're saying to them, I'm going to assume things are going to work out, but in trusting you, I also know that you can hurt me. I also know that at any point in time, you can cheat on me, you can lie to me, you can steal from me, you can smear my name, you can tell people atrocious lies about me that aren't true, you can garner flying monkeys around me, you can pretend to like me but really not like me. There are so many things that are involved when we trust someone. And so it's a mixture of faith and a mixture of fear as well. The thing that abused adult children have to be careful of is our black and white thinking. Because Very often, like I said earlier, trust is very much unconscious. The ability to trust is unconscious. And the more secure I felt to my mother and my father and my siblings, the more trust I have in myself, in my judgment, and of other people. And the more fair-minded I am. I don't live in black and white. In other words, I understand there are plenty of gray. There's plenty of gray. And so if you disappoint me, I don't throw you off the bridge. If you disappoint me, I run it through the filter. I don't forget the 100 wonderful things that you've done for me and say none of that matters because in my opinion, in this situation, you abandoned me, or in this situation, I could not trust you. Depending on what it is. Of course, if you hurt my cat on purpose, of course, if you do something ridiculous, like you cheat on me, everything's out the window, in my opinion. But, you know it. If you're an abused adult child, you can be reactive. Like, the one time that your friend goes out with a bunch of other friends and doesn't invite you, that's it. The 25-year relationship's over. Like, that's what we do. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm owning it. I'm saying that I was a highly reactive, codependent woman who my ability to trust someone was very delicate. And if you wounded me, I took that to heart. I felt abandoned, and I would flee. I would isolate, and I'd be afraid that maybe you were going to hurt me again. I'd be afraid that it meant that you didn't love me, that it meant that I wasn't enough. I wouldn't come at you. That's what a narcissist would do. A narcissist is going to smear your name. A narcissist is going to attack you. A narcissist is going to be vindictive, right, in that situation. But abused adult children, codependents, and the like, for the most part, that's not our MO. For the most part, if you hurt us, we isolate. If you hurt us, we retreat. If you hurt us, we're so wounded that, we end up dissolving under the pressures of feeling like this trust has been obliterated. If you've come from a chaotic background, you're not going to be able to trust people. And you're not going to be able to trust that you're worthy. So you're always going to be waiting, right? You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for the other person to disappoint you. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. See, I couldn't rely on people. See, I'm not good enough. I knew they were going to abandon me. And so that's the danger of the black and white thinking. So when we develop a more secure attachment with ourselves, we're able to see other people more realistically, and we're able to see ourselves more realistically. If you struggle, I know I have, if you struggle with trusting people, if you tend to push people away the minute they hurt you, or you think maybe they're not showing up for you 100%, if this sounds like you, take a deep breath and ask yourself, how secure did I feel to my mother? How secure did I feel to my father? How secure was my home? How predictable was my home? How safe did my home feel? How did my parents or caretakers react to my emotions? Were my dreams received as something exciting to talk about and to explore? Was I encouraged to go after my dreams? When I was sick, what was the reaction? When I cried, what was the reaction? When I stood up for myself, what was the reaction in my home? Answering these questions is going to reveal a lot about what happened to you as a child when you were developing the ability to trust or mistrust. It is not your fault if you go through life not being able to trust people. This is the effect of being raised by people who failed you in this regard. In order for you to feel like you can trust people, you had to feel like you were worthy. But that's not the end of the story. If you came from a home where you were proved that it was proved to you that you weren't worthy, and maybe you weren't worthy to the people who loved you, that doesn't make you unworthy, dear one. That makes the people that raised you dysfunctional. That makes it on them. We got to pin the tail on the donkey. If you can't trust, there's a reason. But I'm here to tell you, you can heal that. I grew up feeling invisible. I grew up feeling unworthy. I grew up feeling not enough. My house looked perfect from the outside, and that was even more confusing. But on the inside, my mother was an adult child of an alcoholic. My dad too. My dad's mom committed suicide. My uncle was an alcoholic. The other uncle was an alcoholic. It was crazy town, okay? Under the skin, it was crazy town. The energy in the house was crazy town, but nobody talked about it. Elephants in the room. What elephant? Do you see an elephant? I don't see an elephant. I mean, you can feel the elephant, but we're not talking about the elephant. It was crazy town. It was maddening for a little kid. So no, I couldn't trust what was happening internally, and I couldn't trust what was happening externally, okay? So it's not your fault, but I'm here to tell you that it's possible to learn how to reparent yourself. It's possible to learn how to love your inner child. It's possible to become your own champion. It's possible to see yourself more realistically. If you come from an abusive home, chances are you are extremely self-critical. You judge yourself, horribly. Well, we have to curtail that. We've got to pull that tongue back. We've got to push mommy's voice back. We've got to push daddy's voice back. We've got to push back the voices of people who live below the veil. And we have to allow our spirit, our higher self, to be heard. We've got to turn up the volume to our higher self so we can hear the language of love, which is you are enough. You have always been enough. None of this is your fault, and you were born worthy. We have to evolve towards love and stop devolving. We've got to, the way I look at it is I feel like there's a clock inside each of us, right? And if you imagine 12 is the midline, right? And so instead of us moving clockwise, we've been moving counterclockwise against the tide of love, right? So when we start hearing these ideas and our consciousness starts to become awakened, now what's happening, the hands on our clock, you have to go through the darkness again. You have to sift through it. You can't get out of the forest until you backtrack, right? So you backtrack, you heal, and in this process you're healing, and then suddenly, before you realize it, you're past the midpoint, and now you're moving with love. And eventually, if you pick up enough momentum, your life manifests into something beautiful. I am proof that it works, and you can do it too. My name is Lisa A. Romano. I'm the Breakthrough Life Coach and best-selling author. I'm about to release my 7th book. Look forward to that. And I'm the creator of the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program and the Law of Attraction Masterclass. Now, the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program is perfect for abused adult children from alcoholic homes, if you came from a narcissistic home, if you're somebody who feels invisible, if you don't know how to set boundaries, if you don't feel real, if you dissociate from your feelings, if you fawn, if you freeze, this program is perfect for you. You meet with me and my team online for 12 weeks. Every week you receive a new video lesson, a meditation, some journaling prompts, and you enjoy a weekly live stream with me where I answer your Q&As. You're open to this program for at least 3 years, and you get to join a large Facebook group of the 12-week Breakthrough graduates. Meet me every year in New York at our holiday gala. Once you graduate from the 12-week class, you are set to join the masterclass if you want to. You learn how to hone your emotional vibrations, and you learn how to be a more deliberate creator with the information that you've just learned about your emotional set point. If you want to start programs now, you can jump into the Breakthrough Warrior membership site. You get a copy of my book. You get a copy of Law of Attraction classes. You get a copy of a narcissism program that I put together, a couple of programs on codependency, and the Loving the Self video and meditation program. And don't forget to join my online Facebook support group. Namaste, dear ones. Until next time, bye for now.